Now, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen them on TV, and now you can see them live. Please give a warm coastal welcome to...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Were you expecting someone else on stage? Were you? I'm the Princess Spice. I am. There's so many people claiming to be it that aren't really it. Because there's only one original, the one and only, the Prince of Spice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, for the first time on the show this year, Reza Mahammad.
Hello. Oh, a very good evening, my word. I must say the population of Durban has certainly decreased, hasn't it?
It has.
What happened to everyone? Is anyone at home today? You're all at home, aren't you? Good evening. And welcome.
The Prince of Spice
Yes.
is what you're known as internationally.
Well, yes.
But
you all know me as...
You have such an affiliation with Durban.
I have, indeed.
You have such a love for it. We call him the Urban Turban in Durban. Ladies and gentlemen, Reza Mahammad.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
darling.
Right, now, we're going to be very quick with this. We're going to do quite a few dishes in about less than 40 minutes. How's that? Quite easy. Now, what I'm going to start off with, we haven't got this simmering away. Let's get this simmering. What we need to do is we're going to first do a pudding, get that out of the way. Now, this is a dish which I sort of discovered, and it's quite healthy. It's rich, but there's an oxymoron about it. It's rich and yet quite light. Strange, isn't it? So what I've done here, I've made an apple compote. It's very straightforward. I just made a sugar syrup, which I thickened, then added diced apples, to which I put some vanilla. Either you can use vanilla bean paste, or you can use the vanilla bean and you just take out the seeds and put that into the sugar syrup with a tiny bit of nutmeg and a bit of cinnamon. And then you let that cook, let the syrup thicken, then you add your apples. And then you bring it to the boil, simmer it for half an hour, no more than half an hour, and cover it whilst it's simmering, switch it off, and leave it in the liquid. So what happens, once it's stopped cooking, the liquid will start to thicken up, so you've got this gorgeous compote. And also, what happens, you don't make the apples go mushy. Does that make sense? So you've got this lovely apple, all wonderful textured, and it retains its shape. So that's all I've done here. But first of all, what I'm going to do is to put some of that lovely apple compote in this glass bit, in this martini glass. Now, there's quite a lot of apple compote. Someone in the back decided to break a glass. So I was going to make two, so you've only going to get one. And I may indulge you, some of you, to try this, to see whether you like it or not. It may be not for most of you, or it may be oui, or it may be si, or no. But it is divine. So first of all, you put a layer of the apple compote. To this, I've made a gorgeous salted caramel. All you do, you melt the sugar. Now, when people get frightened making caramel, how many of you are frightened of putting sugar and heating up sugar? There's quite a few of you. Now, there are two methods of caramelizing sugar. You can either put liquid and allow the sugar to melt in the water, and then it turns, gradually what happens, it starts to simmer, and when it bubbles, it's quite noisy, and when it starts to go amber, it suddenly goes quite silent. And what happens, you get this lovely burnt, lovely sort of rich amber color, to then you add some melted butter and some salt and cream. Cream first, because what happens, the sugar is so hot, you need to take it off the heat and add butter bit by bit, and then pour in the cream, and you get this gorgeous caramel. And to that, I put about 2 teaspoons of salt. Who would like to try some caramel? Over yonder? Man, hands up. Yes, you, with a camera. Are you going to come here, or are you going to look at the camera? Are you going to be taking a photograph? Really? Taste this. Don't put it... Is it good? Now, it's so simple, but what I do, the thing is with sugar, you can actually do it the dry method, which is much easier. I tend to put it straight into a pot, make sure that the pot is a non-stick pot, and what happens with sugar, sugar has water, and it starts to liquefy at 170 degrees centigrade, which is approximately 340 degrees Fahrenheit. So once it starts to melt, it starts to liquefy, that's when you get that lovely amber tones. Then once you've got the amber tones, make sure the sugar is really dissolved. Then you add the butter, because what happens, the temperature is so high, the butter starts to form a sort of lava. And then you pour in the cream, and it is lovely. But keep it off the heat, because you don't want it to keep it on the heat, because what happens, if it goes on the heat and you keep cooking it, you won't have caramel, you'll have fudge or toffee. So we don't want any of that. So what I'm going to do now, we want to dispense of this spoon over yonder at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is to pour some of this gorgeous salted caramel. Is this not working? Oh, heavens. Here I was nattering, and I did say to get this on before people came. Why didn't you get it on? Okay. Is it not working? Why is it not working? Hold it. Oh, dear. Oh, right, now it's working. Oh, let there be a flame, or let there be fire. You know, in the primitive times, we could have actually by now have discovered how to actually get a fire going. I hope it works well. Whilst that's simmering away, I want to melt the chocolate. But what we're going to do, I'm going to drizzle some of this gorgeous salted caramel over the apples. So you've got the sweetness from the Granny Smith apples, which is sharp, and the sugar syrup actually gives that lovely tone. It balances up the sharpness of the apples. And apples is high in pectin, so it releases moisture too. So whilst that's happening, I then put a dash of lemon juice, because you know when you make sugar syrup, it can be quite cloying. So you just put some lemon juice to just get rid of that cloying taste. So we've got that layer, and then we're going to put some chocolate yogurt, which is going to be divine. We're just waiting for this to melt. In the meantime, I'm going to make rice, because otherwise we'll be here till Christmas. And Christmas is just around the corner. Now, what I've done here, I've washed rice, and I've washed it in hot water twice, then 3 times in cold water to get rid of all the cloudy liquid. Because the thing is with rice, when it gets milled, what happens, there's all these particles which are coated on the rice grain. So what we need to do is to just get rid of all that cloudy liquid. And I only do this with basmati rice. You don't need to do that with risotto rice, like arborio, because arborio rice, when you're cooking and making a risotto, you want that starch. Jasmine rice is a very different story, because if you're making sticky rice, you need to just wash it a couple of times and soak it overnight, and then you steam it the following morning, so you've got that lovely sticky glutinous rice. But with basmati, we want it long grain. So what I'm going to do is to get this on the heat. Oh, heavens, which one is that? Oh, that's the middle one. Oh, is it working? Fabulous. Okay. I'm going to add some coconut milk to that, and I'm going to add some water. Where is the water? Oh, underneath. Great. And I'm going to put some liquid onto this. Okay, just what I tend to do is to just put enough water, just which covers the first segment of my finger. That's the way I sort of do it, and it works all the time. Now, the thing about rice, when you actually soak rice, it doesn't need as much liquid, because what's happening, the rice absorbs a lot of moisture, water, so it's quite porous, so you don't want to put too much. To that, I'm going to add some salt. just to season, and then a tiny bit of clarified butter or ghee. So I'm just going to put just about a teaspoon of ghee, and that's it, no more. So we're going to give this lovely, flavoursome rice, which is going to be nice and buttery and tasty with all that wonderful coconut milk. Now, we've done that. Now, I haven't told you what I was doing. I'm making coconut rice. I'm making potato cakes with feta, egg, and red onions with a green chutney. And also, I'm going to make a fish curry with tamarind and chili paste and coconut milk. Isn't that wonderful? All in 40 minutes. How's that? Sounds good? Would you like to partake in the feast? Well, maybe you will, but we'll get this going first. We'll get melting the chocolate, which is important to do. This is dark chocolate. Make sure that the bowl which you use should actually not touch that water, because what happens, you will have a grainy chocolate, which is not what we want. We want this chocolate to be lovely and smooth and lush. So I'm just melting that. To the chocolate, I've added a bit of cardamom and a tiny bit of sugar, because dark chocolate is quite bitter, isn't it? So we want to just get the balance of that bitterness, because what we're doing, we're going to put yogurt into this. So instead of making mousse with egg whites, we're actually making a nice chocolate yogurty mousse, which is going to be divine. So this is being melted. You can see, look at that. It's looking rather good. Now, what I'm going to do, just get this all melted nicely with a bit of sugar. Yeah. And then I'm going to pour my yogurt into that, which is right here. Duh. I'm having a very duh moment today. I don't know why. I thought I was blonde. Okay, so what I'm doing here now is mixing the chocolate with the yogurt. Now, sometimes what happens, if your yogurt is terribly cold, what happens, the chocolate starts to create particles, and it feels like the chocolate hasn't melted. Now, if that happens, which it hasn't happened here, which is wonderful, you can always put it back over the heat so that the chocolate will melt, and it will set rather gorgeously. Now, normally, I would make this overnight. You can see this chocolate mousse has happened quite nicely. Come you. Yes, you, yes. And you. You're looking at that person, but you're coming. Now, what about you? In purple. There are two of you in purple. You're both covering each other. You in the purple, yes. Now, have a taste of this. Darling. Hello, sweethearts.
Hello. Very
Nice? Can you taste the cardamom? Okay. Can I get more spoons, please? Taste this. Now, it's good, isn't it? Nice and chocolatey. It's almost mousse-like, isn't it? So you don't need to actually, you can do shortcuts, really. So I'm putting some chocolate mousse over that, or the chocolate yogurt, and then I can do another layer of this wonderful apple compote. And then some more salted caramel. And some more yogurt with the chocolate. Now, you can do this for about 4 glasses, really. And then, what I do, I just put a few shavings of chocolate over that. And just 1 or 2 bits of the apple here. So there, you've got this wonderful dessert, which you can actually make the day before. And this works really well, especially when you're eating spicy food. You know, Indians always have a problem with their desserts, don't we? No one knows exactly what to do for desserts. We always do the same stuff, don't we? But this actually works really well after eating spicy food. It's almost like a cross between a Shrikand done with an apple compote. Do you know the Shrikand, which is that sweetened yogurt with cardamom, but done with chocolate and apple? It's fabulous. Now, I'm going to leave this to one side because we're going to get you to taste that at some point. Now, the rice here is boiling away. In the meantime, I'm going to start making the potato cakes. I'm amazed at myself. We're getting things done here. I'm amazed. Now, what I've done here with the rice, whilst the potato cakes, whilst the pan is heating quite beautifully, let me get to the rice now. What I've done here, I'm allowing most of that liquid to absorb. It's going to evaporate. And what's going to happen in the rice, there's going to be tunnels, almost like craters. So once we've reduced as much liquid, what we're going to do is to cover the mouth of the saucepan, but what I'm going to do is actually cover the lid and create a little nappy. Now, what happens when we make rice, what happens if you just put a lid on? You get a lot of liquid, which goes back into the rice and makes your rice go sticky, doesn't it? Now, when you put a fabric over the lid, it acts as a shield. And what it does, it absorbs all the excess moisture so that your rice becomes lovely and fluffy and separate. So that's why I always put a fabric over the mouth. But what you need to do, you don't want to put the fabric over like some people do, and then you get a real big flame, and you may have to evacuate your homes, or you may have to run for the hills sometimes. But we're not going to do that. We're going to just cover it like a nappy, comme ça, comme ci, comme ça, and we're going to then cover this. I'm just waiting for it to evaporate beautifully. It's like a little nappy, isn't it? Yes, think of when you had babies. Right, now, next, we're going to put some oil in the frying pan. I'm going to make some potato cakes. So, hello. You'll be late for your funeral. Come in, dears, come in. Okay, we're heating this up now. Get this oil nice and hot, and then first, we're going to actually put some cumin seeds and mustard seeds. Now, first of all, when we temper spices, it's very important to put your mustard seeds in first, yes? Why? Anyone knows why? You Indians should know. We Indians must know why we put the mustard seed in the hot oil. Nobody knows. The reason why we put the mustard seeds in first, because if we don't allow it to pop and to sizzle, we want to emit or allow the mustard seeds to exude a nutty taste and flavor. By actually burning it, what we're doing, we're making the mustard seeds more digestible for our intestines. If we put it kacha or raw, yes, what happens? We can end up with indigestion. So that's why we have to temper the spices first. Not only that, it releases its volatile oils. So it's really important to get the oil nice and hot before you do anything. Now I'm going to just check whether the mustard seeds will pop and burst. Oh, I say. Right, now which one is this one? Oh God, heaven help me. Yes, I want that on the lowest heat. Yes, I'm getting rather unfamiliar with this. Oh my word, what happened here? Right, cover. Is this on? No, this one, dear. Yes, and put it on the lowest heat, dear. Fabulous, there we got it. And give me 8 minutes, no more than 8 minutes, that's all, okay? We just let that cover and we'll allow 8 minutes. Otherwise, we'll have burnt rice, a very smoky coconut rice, which will go beautifully with our, yes, hake curry. Now, oil is nice and hot. Oh, God, I'm going to slip. Darling, we need to get some kitchen paper. Otherwise, we'll all be slipping. There will be something else going on in the kitchen before we know what hits us. Right. Mustard seeds are in. Can you see how wonderful that is? It's popping, bursting, fizzing, and sizzling. Yes? Yes? And then next, it's no laughing matter. Then we have some cumin seeds which go in. which will emit another aroma. It actually deodorizes, the cumin deodorizes our intestines. You know, in Morocco, they use a lot of cumin in all their food. It acts as a wonderful deodorizer. Oh, dearie me, why is this one off now? Hello? Oh, dearie me. Right, next, as we go on, comedy of errors here, we put the onions in. Red onions. Now what I'm going to do is to put garlic ginger. This is garlic ginger paste. Now I'm going to talk about that in a second. Now garlic ginger, when I make garlic ginger paste, I put 70% garlic, 30% ginger. Now normally with Indian cookery we do 50-50. But what I've discovered, if you're doing 50-50, the ginger is very strong. You can always, when you're cooking Indian food, you can always add extra ginger because meat or chicken lends itself to more ginger. Yes? Don't you agree? But the thing is, what I find, when I do European cookery, Middle Eastern food, Far Eastern cuisine, that 70% garlic and the 30% ginger works for all your dishes, be it French, be it Indian, be it Mediterranean, be it whatever. Because the ginger enhances the flavor of the garlic, but it doesn't take over. Does that make sense? And what I do, you can make a whole batch of it. You put 70% garlic, 30% ginger, splash of water at the bottom of your blender, so that the ginger, because you don't want to overwork the machine. So water, so it allows the ginger to sort of grind, garlic, and cover it with sunflower oil or canola oil, an oil which is hasn't got any flavor. Yes? And you blitz it, and you can keep it in the fridge for weeks. Make sure that the oil, you cover it with oil so that it doesn't oxidize. And you can actually freeze it, and it can keep for at least a month or two. Okay, have I put the garlic ginger in? I can't remember. Oh, I did. I've forgotten. Okay, let's get that sort of releasing some flavors. Some chopped chilies can go in. Why was these deseeded? I always like to have some heat in here. Oh, can I get a spoon, please? And I'm going to add some turmeric, about half a teaspoon of turmeric. Lovely. And next, I'm going to add potatoes. You can cook your potatoes, get them mashed or whatever. You can just keep them in chunks. It's not a problem. And then you can make this the day before, and then the potatoes will go in. And what this does, that the turmeric will take on the color. But potatoes will take on the color of the turmeric. Hello, where's my English now? Okay. Can you see the color here? So half a teaspoon is more than enough. You don't need too much. The next thing I'm going to add is some chopped boiled eggs. And then some salt and sesame seeds, toasted sesame seeds. Is it smelling good? Okay, and then we're going to just let that sort of cool down in a bowl. Okay, we can switch this off. Let's put that to one side. And then I'm going to crumble some feta cheese, which will give the salt. Lovely. Best way is to use your hands. Nice, because that's... And then wash hands. Yes? Very important to wash your hands in situations like this. How many minutes had the rice been done? Right, and then some coriander goes in, chopped coriander. And then what I'm going to do, I put the sesame seeds and a bit of lime juice or lemon juice, and then give this a good mix. And we'll let this cool for a moment before we actually turn them into cakes. I'll just taste it. Who would like to taste that? Yum, yum. Who would like to taste this? Come, have a taste. Oh, where are you going, dear? Have a taste. Who would like to taste this? Come, darling. Have a taster. Eat. And where are you going now? Have you got a date with destiny? Oh! Oh, of course, dear. Oh, hello. Anyway, so we're just going to mix that. We're going to let this cool so I can get the potato cakes done in no time at all. In the meantime, let's move all this. We can dispense with all these things now. God, I'm so messy, aren't I? Great, so we let that cool. Okay, I need a cloth. Oh, let's get this all wiped. Cool. Okay, so what have we done? We made the dessert. We're getting the potato cake mixture is just cooling down, and then I'll just mold them, and then we'll fry them. And now we're going to work on the fish. So straightforward, isn't it? So easy. So quick, isn't it? So now what we're doing for the fish curry. Now what I've done here, I'm going to talk about this. This is fish stock. You don't have to use fish stock, but fish stock gives another depth of flavor to your sauce. Because there were some prawns left, I just thought I may as well use everything, the shells and whatever. And what I did with this, I've just heated up some oil. I put some fennel seeds, onions, garlic, ginger, and cooked that out, sweated it. You can put fennel, and I put some lemongrass, cook that, and then put the prawn heads and whatever, all the shells, cook that with some tomato puree, let that cook, and then you put the liquid, some chopped parsley and some coriander, and let that cook for about half an hour, and bring it to a boil, let it simmer for half an hour, and then you strain it. And that's what this stock is. It gives a lovely flavor, added flavor to your sauce. It's very easy and straightforward, because sometimes when we're having prawn curry, what do? We devein the prawns, we take the shells off, and we chuck it, don't we, most of us? But you can actually use all those shells and get some lovely flavor for your stock and this would be perfect for any seafood dish. If you had mussels or squid, or you made curries with mussel or squid, actually all this will lend itself to any fish dishes or any seafood dishes. So what I'm doing here is heating up some oil, and I'm going to use some coconut oil now. Now, mostly South Indian cuisine uses a lot of coconut oil, especially in Kerala. And we all know that these days, coconut oil is the latest sort of fat, which everyone loves and adores. Is that so? Because they're saying it's the new sort of super fat. But the problem with coconut oil, it's got a lot of flavor. So if you're going to use coconut oil in everything, you're going to have everything tasting of that sort of coconutty taste. But if you're using things which you're going to cook with coconut milk or whatever, then why not use coconut oil? It's a very good fat, and it's fantastic especially for us Indians. We like to keep our hair nice and dark, and our skin's beautiful. It is actually the coconut oil which does it. If you look at most Kerala people, they look amazing. Eyes are white, hair is glossy. They don't have a white hair, and they don't go bald. I wonder why. We need to switch that off. Oh, it's switched off, and it can stay heating. And it's fantastic for the skin, for the nails, for the hair. It's fabulous. We've been doing it for centuries, but everyone's discovering it now. It's true, isn't it? So I'm just going to put about a tablespoon to 2, no more, 1 to 2 tablespoons. You don't want too much. So I'm just bringing this to the heat. Now, whilst that's heating up, I'm going to talk about what I've done here. This is actually a chili paste, which is very easy because, dried chilies, you get dried chilies. I soak it in hot water for about half an hour. And what happens, the dried chilies plump. And what they do, they become quite dark. When you see dried chilies, they're quite dark. By putting hot water, they come back to life. You get that lovely redness. So this is actually dried chili soaked in hot water, and to that I toasted some coriander seeds, roughly crushed it, and put it into a blender and blitzed it. So you've got this lovely chili paste, which will work for a lot of dishes. Now, the oil is nice and hot. To that, I'm going to add onions. I'm going to just add a bit of, that's sugar. Where's the salt? Right here. some salt, and I'm just going to give that a good stir, and I'm going to put a bit of garlic ginger paste. You see, I'll tell you, when you make your garlic ginger paste, it will save you hours of cooking. It takes about half an hour to make the paste. I don't like all that bottled ginger paste and garlic paste. Do you like it? How many of you use ginger paste and garlic paste? Commercial. It's got that very strange aftertaste. It's got that awful tartar, that sort of citrus. And I don't like that citrusy taste. It leaves a funny aftertaste. It's so quick to make your own garlic ginger paste. And it saves 8 hours of cooking, because once you've got it, you can use it in everything, really. To that, I'm going to add some curry leaves, which is wonderful because curry leaves are high in vitamin C, and it exudes a beautiful sort of flavor. It's got that lovely citrusy tang. So I'm going to put some curry leaves to that, and then some chilies, just a tiny bit. I don't want to put too much chili because I've got the chili paste, which is going to be quite hot. Now, normally, when I make my chili paste, I don't know if this is not Kashmiri chili. I can tell you that now. But if you can find Kashmiri dried chilies, what it does, it actually makes the chili paste even brighter. It's mild. The Kashmiri chilies is a very mild chili. So if it's a hot chili, you don't need to put chili again. Otherwise, it's too much heat. You want other flavors to you want the different tones and layers. So you can taste everything, not just have chili, 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 chili. Otherwise, everything's at the top of the palate, and all the wonderful ingredients that you're putting goes to waste. So I try and create a sort of balance. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cooking the onions so that they become nice and golden. And once they go a lovely pale golden color, I'm going to add some chili paste. Now, when you make chili paste, what I tend to do is once I've got this in this lovely color, what's going to happen, remember your pan is hot. So if you feel that the spice paste is burning, you can always put a tiny bit of liquid to lower the temperature, and you carry on cooking for a good 2 to 3 minutes. The more you cook the spice in this, the more intense the flavor of your sauce. That's what happens. The flavors intensify because chilies and the spices need to release their wonderful oils because they have volatile oils. And the thing is, the oils which are released, they are released at different times and stages in the cooking process. Does that make sense? Because cumin doesn't take long to exude its flavor. Coriander, because the seed is slightly bigger, takes a little longer, another 30 seconds more, 20 seconds more. Like cardamom, cloves, they take a while for the flavors to be released, but once they're released, they just become very aromatic and exude a lovely sort of flavor. Now, can you see that the onions are lovely golden brown? They're not burnt in any way. We want them to have a lovely sort of chestnut color, yeah? Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to put the chili paste in, about 1 to 2 teaspoons or tablespoons. Can you see this lovely color now? It's almost got a jam-like consistency. Can you see that? It's got this lovely sort of syrup-like consistency. Now I'm going to cook that, and what I'm going to do is just put a dash of water because I want to cook out the spices. Lovely color, isn't it? So the next thing I'm going to do, just let that cook and cook and cook. And then all I'm going to do is to put about another 1 to 2 tablespoons of tamarind. Now the tamarind, you can get that in blocks. So you just need a bit of a nugget, soak it in hot water and just leave it. And then you just squeeze out all that wonderful texture, because it comes nice and viscousy. And that gives you that lovely sort of sour taste. So we're going to add that. And the next thing I'm going to do is to put the coconut milk in. So now you can see this lovely color. So what happens, the coconut milk has a lovely sort of creamy texture, and I'm going to add some of this lovely fish stock to it. Just enough. And you've got this lovely sauce now. Now, it's sour, it's hot, but it needs a bit of balancing. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of sugar to bring out the sweetness of the coconut milk and some salt. Now the salt pulls everything together. It's like a conductor. So we're going to just bring this to a boil, and then I've got some lovely fillets of haddock here, and then I'm going to just let that cook in that lovely liquid. It's so straightforward, so tasty, and so delicious. Nice. Put that in. I'm going to just bring this to the boil, and then I'm going to just cover this and allow all the flavors. Now, the thing is that sometimes if you sear your fish, what happens, you can cook the fish and then make the sauce separately. But the problem is that you've created a barrier between the sauce and the fish. Here, we want the fish to absorb these flavors. Now, haddock is quite a delicate fish, but it can lend itself to acid. You can make a lovely lemon butter caper sort of sauce, but it will lend itself to the coconut milk and the tamarind and not terribly strong flavors, and it will be absolutely divine. So now what I'm going to do is to cover this so it can poach and get cooked for about a few minutes. So whilst that's happening, I'm going to get another frying pan. Let's get the oil on. I'm going to now make the potato cakes. Can you keep an eye out on the fish for me? Yeah? And I'm going to now make the potato cakes. See, this is called multitasking. You know, women are very good at it. Men are terrible, aren't they? I'm so naughty. So I'm just going to make a couple of potato cakes. Yeah, could you put some oil? And can we get the flour out at the bottom? That's it. Okay? I'm going to just make 3. Lovely. Now, once your potatoes are cool, now normally I just make the potato cakes and I let this to rest in the fridge for half an hour or something, because you want it to set. You know, you want it to cool, but we don't have an hour, do we? So we're going to make this immediately. So I'm dusting it. Now, if you are a celiac, you can actually use rice flour instead of plain flour, because this is actually gluten-friendly. It's gluten-free friendly. Most of Indian cooking is actually gluten-free, if you think about it. It's only when we start using plain flour or whatever, that's when the problems occur. But you can actually make all sorts of wonderful breads with gram flour, rice flour, potato flour, tapioca. So if you want, you can actually put rice flour instead of plain flour. But here, we've only got the plain flour. Who is allergic to wheat? Can you lower the heat there, darling? No one is. Oh, that's good. So everyone will have this. Well, I'm going to get you all to taste this. Okay, is that oil nice and hot? Great. Well, let it get nice and hot, and then these will get very, because it's all cooked. It's going to get cooked very, very quickly. Now that I've done that, wash hands quickly. This is like being in the kitchens back in the villages of wherever. One could be in Maharashtra, in the Konkan village. You know, you have to have a bucket of water somewhere. It's true. I come from that part. Well, my family came from that part, and we had to find water from wherever. We had to go to the local village. No, we didn't. I'm terrible. You could shoot me now. Right, what's this for? Are we keeping this for any specific reason? Oh my word, the rice is done. I love it when things are happening beautifully. Just keep an eye on this fish. We don't want to overcook this fish. This is coming, look at that, isn't it looking lovely? And look, we've made a meal quite quickly. I'm amazed. Right, now, Let's just check. I always check whether the flour is ready. Yes, it is. The oil is ready. Just put a bit. See, it's sizzling away. I love this. My God, I love it when things get together. Right, now, the only thing I've got to do, we can dispense with that. Wash my hands. And then, the only thing I haven't done is to put some desiccated coconut through the rice. If I have a fork, is there a fork anywhere? If there's no fork, lovely. If we can get a fork, that would be fabulous. Terrific, my word. Now, the only thing I'm going to serve with the potato cakes is this coriander dip sauce, which is actually yogurt, chilies, garlic, lime or lemon juice, sugar, salt, and some mint, which is only blitzed in the blender. And that's all I'm going to serve it with. So I'm just going to quickly get this done. Get a spatula. Lovely. Oh, this is looking beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful. Golden crust formed by the flour. Okay. Let's get the plates, serving plates. Let's get this wiped. All right, okay. Done. Okay. What? Sorry? Time. I'm almost done. We're ready. Who wants to? Would you like to come and partake in this feast? No, exactly. I knew it. Where is the doobly-doodah, the doobly-doodah, I call it? Where is that thing for the rice, the cup, the coffee cup, which are, for molding? The doobly-doodah, I have to go, there we go. That's my doobly-doodah. Right, now, fork, I'm just folding in the rice. Just look at this beautiful, fluffy rice. Done in an instant. Okay, just, can you check if it's ready? No, it's a little bit more, just another minute. By the time I've got all this done, it's going to be fine. Can we actually switch off the pan? I'm being very fast here. God, I'm amazed at myself that I've actually done so many dishes. There, that's done. Rice.
You're only at 40, it's fine.
Come on, what?
You're only at 40, it's fine.
You're
under. You've got plenty of time, it's fine.
Have I got plenty of time? How marvelous. There we go, some fried onions. Beautiful. Okay, these are nice and dry. Okay. There we go. Coriander, very quick. See how many things we've done in next to no time. Oh, love it.
In next to no time. Yeah, right.
We have. Don't you start, Mr. Neil. Okay. Right, so we've got potato cakes. Who would like to try? Come on. Who would like to? Come. Taste that. We'll get some spoons. And the fish curry is just about to get ready. And we've got our pudding. How marvelous. Quick. Right. We need some spoons. Almost done. Right, okay. I can't believe this. I'm so... Oh, it's done very nicely. Okay. Here we go. Okay, where's a spoon for this? Ooh, can we have it sort of... No. There's some lovely fish with the... Okay, here we go. Okay, just give this a quick wipe. Where's some kitchen paper? Just a wipe. Now, which one would you like to try first, my dear? Okay, try the potato cake. Who would like to try the pudding? Come on. Who would like to try the fish curry?
Let's go.
And the rice. It's all ready to eat. There, we got it. Done.
Ladies and gents, please welcome Australian MasterChef winner, Brent
Brent,
Owens.
yes, Brent, come and taste this and see what you think. Right. Come on, Brent.
Now, Brent and Reza will be teaming up on Sunday
Look how quick that was done.
for the final cook-off on Sunday afternoon. So
Yes,
make
Brent and
sure you
myself
come
are
and
actually going to be
join,
cooking off, exactly.
come and join us.
So quick. Done.
Brent, what do you think?
Good. Is it too hot? Is it hot?
No, hot from the pan.
Yeah, from the pan, yeah. But
It's good, really good though.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautifully cooked fish. Yum. Oh, I can't feel my
But the thing is that it's not, you can taste everything, can't you? Can you?
Yeah, beautiful.
You can taste the chili, but you could. What do you think?
Reza will be going to the book stand to sign his book right after the show.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that, love?
It's
Yeah.
very, very good.
Glad.
It's something that can go with a yogurt dish with the rice as well.
What do you think of that, sir?
Excellent, excellent.
It's not supper time, eh?
Dip right in.
It's tasting time.
Dunk
Yeah,
it
with my
right
whiskey.
through and see and taste it.
With your whiskey.
Good.
What dish did you taste, my love? And what do you think?
Beautiful.
All right.
And-
Right, ladies and
There we
gents,
go.
let's put our hands together. Reza Mahammad.
Thank you.
Delicious, isn't it? What makes it so delicious?
Chocolate and the apple.
The chocolate and the apple, nice fusion together.
But you could also do it with pears also. You could do it with pears, you could do it
Hello,
with
sir.
raspberries.
Thanks, man.
And also you could do a nice white chocolate.
Are you
mousse
inviting
also with
yourself up
mango
here?
And passion
Yeah?
fruit too.
Yeah, no, I'm just pulling in. Okay. No, have a nice evening. Right, ladies and gents, Brent and Reza. Reza Mahammad,
And
the
on
one, the only, the original Prince of
and
Spice.
don't forget, if you're here on Sunday, well, Brett and myself are going to be doing a cook-off against Rick Stein and Jenny Morris. Now that's going to be quite something. Well, we are going to be a force to be reckoned with.
No, we've got no chance.
We have no chance. The only thing is I need to get my mother-in-law. You know, it depends on what's in the mystery basket, that is, you know. Anyway, that'll be very interesting.
Reza,
Thank
thanks
you.
very much. Those of you who'd like to have a chat to him, get a copy of his book at the book stand out the back of the theatre. There's the exit. Let's clear the theatre. Thank you very much. International Hotel School, can we clear stage? Yeah, straight away.